Coming up, Disney moves away from the Fox brand. There's a crackdown on unlicensed Baby Yoda merchandise. And the team talks about taking a last-minute trip to Walt Disney World. All that plus news, roundtable rapid fire, and much, much more. From the Bob Varley Studio in Orlando, Florida, this is the Diz Unplugged. This is the Diz Unplugged, episode 1062, for the week of January 21st, 2020. The Diz Unplugged is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel. Let the experts at Dreams Unlimited Travel help you plan the perfect Disney, Universal, cruise, or Adventures by Disney vacation. Join us on the web at www.dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. My name is John Magi, and I'm going to be your host this week. Pete is on a Carnival cruise at this very moment, yelling at somebody saying this is not how Disney does it.
When you said Pete and Carnival Cruise in the same sentence, I was like, wait, what?
Wait a minute, what happened? Did you lose a bet? What's going on? We're coming to you from beautiful Orlando, Florida. And I'm joined at the table by our Orlando team. Teresa Eccles.
Hey.
Kevin Close.
Hi, everyone.
Kathy Whirling.
Hi, everybody.
Julie Martin.
Hey, y'all.
And back in our production facility, we have our associate producer, Rhino Clavin.
Hello.
And our producer, Craig Williams.
Hello. And I'm also happy to report that Pete was texting me this morning saying he was shocked by how much he likes Carnival.
Wow.
Oh.
I'm happy to hear that.
Shocked.
Good.
Sounds like we have a little cliffhanger tease.
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to do more on it in the coming weeks and stuff. I won't say, but he specifically mentioned another cruise line that he says he actually likes Carnival more than them.
Wow.
Right now.
Wow.
I know.
Again, because he said it last time, because he can smoke everywhere. He can smoke next to the refueling station if he wants to.
Over the buffet.
Over the buffet. So we hope he's having a good time. We really do. It's always fun when you discover a new cruise or something that you enjoy. Excuse me. All right, so I'm so happy you guys are here to join me for this episode, and we're going to start with some housekeeping. Does anybody have any housekeeping besides Pete being on a Carnival cruise? Crickets.
I don't think so, but if something comes up, I'll let you know.
Rhino, anything going on Patreon we want to talk about?
I'll just talk about it. I got a bunch of posts I'm going to be making in the next couple days. I re-recorded some stuff that I had recorded while I was sick and didn't really. I thought I was very fluid, but I was not. So I was like, this is borderline gibberish. So I redid some of the episodes I said I was going to do, and I'll be posting a bunch of those this week. And I just follow along on there. If you're a supporter, that's patreon.com/disunplugged. And we've got bunch of stuff going on up there. So fun projects.
I have housekeeping.
I remembered mine as well, too.
Oh, okay. Let's do Teresa first, because, her attention span is short, so we don't want her to lose it.
You know what? Shut the
front door.
Front door.
No, if you're within the sound of my voice and you can hear me speaking at this moment and you have not received your auction item for the last two auctions...
I need to talk to you about that, too. Yeah.
Just chill.
Okay.
For the last two auction items, there's a reason. I don't have your address. You're not returning my calls or my emails having to do with the cost of the shipping. Okay? I got about 12 invoices I'm sitting on.
Anything good?
Teresa's being ghosted.
There is a listener that I think you might have been gone, like on vacation maybe or something, that was trying to get in touch with you, that has gotten in touch with me, that I am now spreading that to you, so I need to talk to you about that. Because they're going to be like here at a resort, and I thought we can work something out.
Cool beans.
So,
well, let me know.
Yeah.
It might be
This is great to do on the air.
So
I know, that was kind of weird.
Cool.
I'm going to do the less strident version of that. If you have not received your auction item, please write to teckles@dreamsunlimitedtravel.com so we can get that item to you.
But I do like spunky Teresa.
But
Scary.
I'm trying to do thing here. Okay? Smile and everything. Seriously, I've got items going back 2 auctions. And also, if you have not paid for your auction item, there's still a few of you out there. And you haven't paid. Because, seriously, the money's not missing, right? And there's reasons that I've tried to pay it for you. push it through, but it's not happening, and you know why it's not happening. So,
Wow. Whoosh. Craig, save us. What's your housekeeping?
My housekeeping is that I don't think we actually talked about it last week on the show. I might have just not been paying attention, which happens from time to time. But last Wednesday, we launched our newest show, the Disney Cruise Line show. And that, of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, then you saw it pop up, I'm sure, on Wednesday, and maybe you had a chance to enjoy it.
Or not.
Or not. But we have 4 new shows at least recorded as of right now. So it is a weekly show, and you'll see new episodes every week. And we've got some fun ones coming up for you. But for the people who listen and don't watch, we also want to make sure that you know that there is audio version of this show as well too, not just video, and you can find it by going to wherever you listen to podcasts at and just typing in the Disney Cruise Line show, or if you head over to disunplug.com to our show notes page, I included links directly to the RSS feed and then the show on Apple Podcast, Stitcher, and Spotify.
What's the regular day for that show? What's the regular
That
day?
will be on Wednesdays. You'll be able to expect it every Wednesday, as long as there are episodes that are ready to go. But like I said, we know we have 4 weeks worth, so you got another 4 episodes coming at the very least.
All right. I'm going to do a housekeeping for Kevin. The last 2 spots on our Egypt trip have gone almost immediately from our announcement from last week.
Driving home.
So if you
Yes,
are
last week.
still thinking about it, we're so sorry, but the trip is now full. So no more spots on our Egypt trip. Any more housekeeping before we move on to the news? All right. Good job, everybody. We're going to move on to the news. And I told Julie that she has to read the news this week because I don't think I could take Teresa reading it again.
I don't think I could either.
I don't think I could. Anyone could take
And
that?
anybody picks on Julie or does anything, no matter what, you're gonna have to answer
I
to me
don't pick
right
on
now.
people.
Right?
You keep pointing at me.
Listen, I am the resident bully and rat of
You
This
think?
Unplugged.
You
and
rat?
Somebody did call you a rat. Yeah.
They did call you a rat.
Multiple people
I
did.
changed it in my phone.
Oh,
Rat.
you dirty rat.
Rat.
Sorry.
Dirty rat.
All right. Take it away, Julie.
Okay, this is the news. I'm delighted and nervous, so bear with me. Okay.
Us too.
Delighted and nervous.
Disney moves away from the Fox brand. In a move that insiders reportedly characterized as rather inevitable, the Walt Disney Company has decided to drop the Fox branding from its 21st Century Fox properties, 20th Century Fox and Fox Searchlight Pictures Studios. The Walt Disney Company acquired the 21st Century Fox properties, including 20th Century Fox and Fox Searchlight Pictures, for $71.3 billion in March of 2019. While Disney acquired the Fox movie and television studios, the Fox broadcast network, Fox News, has remained part of the corporation headed by CEO Lachlan Murdoch. This announcement comes at the end of a week that began with the announcement that 3 Fox and Fox Searchlight Pictures properties and releases, Jojo Rabbit, Breakthrough, and Ford vs. Ferrari, have garnered Disney several 2020 Academy Award nominations. 20th Century Fox will now be known as 20th Century Studios, and Fox Searchlight Pictures will become Searchlight Pictures. There is no word on a decision regarding a change of name for the television studios. 20th Century Fox originally came about in 1935. It was a result of a merger between Fox Film Corporation and 20th Century Pictures.
I don't think this is a big shock to anybody. I think there's a lot of confusion about the brand. When people see Fox, they go, well, that's Disney now. So I think that that's the right thing to do.
Do you think that's any better when it's 20th century? I don't know that solves that. It kind of makes me sad because it's just a little bit of history that goes away.
Exactly.
However, that Fox is still being used for other properties. So there's a confusion between, is it part of the Fox News network? Is it part of the other things? Now removing that, I think, removes that confusion.
It's a little bit of film history.
Yeah.
That's been around a long time. And
Yeah.
it's kind of sad to see that slip away.
I agree with Kevin on it. Like, I understand why, and when I was walking with Rhino and that news kind of popped up that they were doing that, it was like the first thing I said is, well, I'm sure it's because
Let go of my
pretty
hand.
much
I need to
because
read
of
this.
Fox News, and then that's probably a big part of it. And I'm not getting into that one way or another, but yeah, it is confusing when they don't own everything Fox. Clearly they want to separate their brand a little bit in a way, but it is history. I mean, as soon as you hear that 20th Century Fox fanfare, like you think of exactly the picture of 20th Century Fox right up on the screen with the spotlights and everything. And yeah, they can still use it with 20th Century Studios, but then I'm a purist in that I don't want them to go back to some of their big films like Sound of Music and change that to now fit the branding of 20th Century Studios. I don't know if they would do that or not, but I don't like it when that option even becomes available, that they can start tinkering with little things, especially because, I think 20th Century Fox is the most iconic of the studio opening banners. It's not a knock against Disney. Like, I love seeing the castle pop up and the music and everything, but 20th Century Fox
and
to
that
me
stream
is...
that runs under the castle?
Yeah, and MGM has the lion roar. There are some iconic ones out there,
MGM's
but...
Columbia with Liberty
So
holding the
let's go
lamp.
back to you and Rhino walking together in nature.
We were walking.
Just holding hands
They
down
were
a path.
walking children through nature.
We're walking children through nature.
I nuzzled on his shoulder and I said, if I could be one place right now,
It
it
would-
would be here.
and then I continued to play on my recorder for him.
That's a new movie that's
It's
out.
like Winnie the Pooh and Piglet walking off into the sunset.
Homo
Cute.
Rabbit.
Deciding who is who.
No, more Eeyore.
All right.
Okay.
Which one of us didn't have pants on?
Our next news story.
It's fun.
Disney is cracking down on Etsy sellers who are offering unlicensed Baby Yoda merchandise.
Pay attention, Teresa.
Fans of The Mandalorian on Disney Plus collectively lost their minds when the child appeared in the new series. Demand for merchandise featuring the adorable Baby Yoda was fierce, and Disney didn't release anything prior to the show's premiere as not to spoil the surprise. In the meantime, Etsy shop owners took out their crochet hooks. I'm sorry. Jackie, I love you, but it made me giggle. Okay. Along with many other skills to create plushies and toys featuring the little guy, which set their shops on fire, of course. The bootleg merchandise was selling like hotcakes in many of the Etsy shops until Disney began issuing takedown notices. So, be warned. Also, you meme makers probably better watch out. According to a story on The Verge, many of the complaints Disney sent to Etsy stated that shop owners use the words Star Wars, Mandalorian, and Yoda in their listings for unofficial merchandise. Etsy proceeded to deactivate those listings, even those with current orders, causing issues for the shop owners.
So that's why I just put cute little creature.
Yeah, right. Oh. Disney sent out the notices once they began offering their own Baby Yoda merchandise for sale several weeks after the show premiered, but many of the items seemed lackluster in comparison to some of the handmade items that were offered on Etsy, which I have to agree, they are super cute. Obviously, Disney has the right to enforce its intellectual property and to prevent others from profiting from its work. Fans were eager to purchase products that Disney was not offering. Etsy sellers' handmade toys delivered a plethora of new customers to Etsy shops that usually sell many lower-profile items such as stuffed unicorns and wall decorations. Some sellers have edited their listings and removed the keywords that caused them to be noticed by Disney, but The Verge also reports that those sellers have seen a noticeable decline in sales and searches as their products are much more difficult for customers to find.
I don't know Etsy. I haven't met her, so I don't know exactly what's sold over there.
God, I knew you were going to say that.
Did you know? Exactly?
I knew you were going to
So
say that.
what do they have? Like, can people do Mickey Mouse dolls and Donald Duck? And they do
okay,
other?
First of all, haven't people been making, unlicensed Disney merchandise for years?
I guess that was my question.
I mean,
yeah.
I've been to Vegas. I've seen those characters on
Right.
the street.
There's a couple.
Times Square in New York.
There's a
Scary
couple
like ever.
crafting groups that use the Cricut. That these Etsy groups had done the like the JPEGs or the format that you need to use for the Cricut that all got shut down, and people were upset. And then those that know Disney well enough, I mean, it's never been allowed you could use a Disney
Right.
item, but they make T-shirts and you name it, and just the file that you could do with whatever you wanted. But people were upset that they shut them down.
Are there other Disney items for sale on Etsy? Are there other
Oh.
handmade?
All kinds of stuff.
Basically, there was a big thing a couple of years ago that they were saying that Disney went in. I think they even had like a special event for all these Etsy like creators that were like maybe local, and they like stole all the ideas. Like all those big buttons that say now are like, I'm just here for the snacks, something, whatever, the Haunted Mansion ones. Those are Etsy creators that came up with that Disney then saw and went, well, why aren't we making that?
Yeah.
And so a lot of like the new T-shirt designs and stuff like that come from people on Etsy. And
one of the biggest things they actually stole from these folks were the ears. Disney wasn't making the custom ears and the special ears until they showed up on Etsy. The problem is if you're going to create something like that, you should copyright it. Because Disney then can just come in and take it.
Well, that's the hard part. So I have gotten a takedown order on Etsy before because I paint, and I used to do some paintings when I was in school to help pay for stuff. And I had one. It wasn't from Disney, though. They never said anything. It was Fox that sent me one about some Bob's Burgers art I did. But it wasn't specifically Bob's Burgers. It was like a hybrid thing. And you're supposed to be allowed to do stuff that's like that. And so it wasn't like explicitly this thing, but it was weird because I was like, why this one piece that looks nothing like this? Did they ask me to take it down? But you just get an email that just says, hi, this thing has been asked, and we ask that you please do this. If you feel like it's incorrect, please communicate with us as well. And so they'll talk to you. It's not like a threat.
Do you think you could still use the child image, or is it because the listings listed Mandalorian? And
If I made a shirt and put it on and wore it in the park, nobody's really going to say
you're
anything.
not selling it.
Right. But if I started selling them, then,
Yeah.
because most of these things come with like a personal license or a commercial license. But for Disney stuff, you're never going to, what you're supposed to do is write to the company whose stuff you want to borrow, and it's up to them to give you approval. But Disney never does. There's all kind of companies. Like if you use the same color, I know John Deere was one for a while that people were doing tractor images, and just the colors.
The color alone, yeah.
Yeah, they'll get you.
'Cause that's
for
what
that.
comes to mind. It's so strong an image.
This is not new. I haven't lived in Albany, New York in many, many, many years. But back when I did, there was a small daycare, preschool in Schenectady, New York that had Magic Kingdom daycare or something like that. And they painted a castle on the wall, nothing that looked like a Disney castle. And Disney sent them a cease and desist letter.
It's no surprise because it's one of those things where, I think there's some sort of perception where people think that Disney dropped the ball on the merchandise, but they were specifically asked not to make merchandise for this so that it wouldn't spoil the show, and they said yes. And I honestly think that created a higher demand by not having it out when you wanted it, because now it'll make everyone go crazy when they do it. But I think they're like, because they're on the cusp of that release, they're now realizing like, oh, a lot of these super fans are buying too much of this other stuff that's literally the same stuff we're about to sell.
And even then, like, I don't want to really sit here and belittle Disney on it, but all these Disney fans who say they dropped the ball on Baby Yoda merchandise, child merchandise, like, they do the same thing with attractions, and we've talked about it over and over again. Like, they weren't prepared for Frozen to become the hit that it was, and then they rushed out a bunch of stuff that felt more like limited time experiences until eventually you get something more permanent like Frozen Ever After. And it's been going on for years that they don't plan ahead for something to be a massive success in any circumstance. Like Zootopia, there should have
been a lot more stuff for that.
Yeah, there should have been a lot of stuff for Zootopia, and it just kind of came and went, and the characters are in the parks, and Shanghai gets a section, but we don't get it. So it's not like this is new. If you're a Disney fan, there's nothing new about Disney not going crazy with something right from the very start. It's actually really typical, and it stinks if you're one of those Etsy sellers that has to pull down your stuff. But I mean, it's also,
I feel like you should have known that was a risk.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I think there's definitely. I think fans of movies and TV shows and artwork, like, I think they should have a place where they can express themselves and learn to do these characters. Like, you can't learn to draw Mickey Mouse unless you sit down and you start practicing drawing Mickey Mouse. You don't show up day one and get that, but but you also have to watch how far you're going to press it. I mean, if you don't own it, make something for yourself out there.
Yeah. So how long before we see Baby Yoda travel agencies out there?
Ew.
Well, I mean, I'm amazed at the ones that have Disney in their name. So, all right, there's my rant for a second.
Okay, the Central Florida theme park injury reports for the fourth quarter of 2019 have been released. To remain exempt from major inspection, Central Florida theme parks must list all of their quarterly incidents and injuries with the state. This quarter's report, which is from October to December of 2019, covers a total of 9 incidents, with 4 belonging to Disney, 4 to Universal, and 1 to Busch Gardens. The only incidents or illnesses resulting in a hospital stay of 24 hours or more and deaths are reported. So for Walt Disney World, there was 1 incident in Magic Kingdom, December 10th. It was a female, age 89.
Teresa.
She was a guest with a pre-existing medical condition, and she experienced a temporary loss of consciousness while riding Space Mountain.
An 89-year-old on Space Mountain.
Yeah,
Good
dude.
for her.
Well, you got to look at some of these. You really have to look at some of these and go,
What was she doing on Space?
I think I could lose consciousness
Yeah.
on Space Mountain.
Goodness.
I agree.
Power to her. She's all right, though, right?
Yeah, she's okay.
Wow.
Hollywood Studios, October 5th, a female, age 39, a guest who also had a pre-existing medical condition, felt dizzy and had trouble with equilibrium after riding Star Tours.
Who hasn't?
Okay. As you get older, warning, ladies, your equilibrium, that happens. Like, you get dizzier on things that maybe it wouldn't happen to you. So anyway, be warned of that. October 8th, male, age 66, guest with a pre-existing condition, was ill after experiencing Star Tours. I'm seeing a pattern here.
Pretty much stay off for Star Tours.
October 31st, a female, age 46, a guest who experienced severe head pain, illness, and vomiting after riding Rock and Roller Coaster. I can see that happening for sure. Universal Orlando. This incident was at Universal Studios. October 22nd, it was a male guest, age 30. This guest experienced chest pain after riding an attraction, but didn't confirm which one. So, some attraction caused him chest pain.
It was probably Minions.
Was it Minions?
December 13th, a female, age 44. This guest experienced motion sickness after riding Despicable Me, Minion Mayhem.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
yeah. It's the Star Tours of Universal, apparently.
And then at Islands of Adventure, November 3rd, a female, age 57. This guest felt motion sickness after riding Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey. Not surprising either. December 26th, also at Islands of Adventure, a male, age 78. This guest suffered a knee injury after riding Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey. Wow.
A knee injury.
And then the last one was at Busch Gardens, December 8th, male, age 67. This guest felt bilateral knee pain on the train.
Okay.
Busch Gardens. This guy's felt scared
sorry,
after seeing a lion.
I'm not trying to downplay this guy's pain, but on the train. I was not expecting that.
I'm actually surprised at how few there are. Don't you
Yeah.
think there would
Right.
be more?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think there's a lot that don't report. Because how many
yeah.
times you get off a
But
rock,
these-
they're not going to report.
I couldn't tell you. Every single day I worked at Forbidden Journey, we called health services, and usually 2 or 3 times a day. And some of them seemed like they were even serious, but then nothing ever
It's not,
really escalated.
You get off a
from
ride
it,
and you
so.
feel, and if I'm 89, I'm getting on freaking Space Mountain. More power to me, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to get off, and I know I'm going to feel bad.
It's not getting off that's the problem, or getting on. It's getting out of that car.
Yeah,
have to,
I haven't
like-
read it since Kathy and I read
Yeah.
it, and she broke her
Star Tours
sunglasses.
makes
Yep.
me sick. I don't have any issues. No thanks. I also don't like Rock and Roller Coaster.
I know my limits, but I guess at 89, I'd go, let's just do it, kids, and get on. And
Do you think sometimes people don't know what a ride is? Do you
Yeah.
think maybe
Oh, yeah.
89 she
At
thought-
89, your kids are going to be in their 60s.
Some people
all my
are not.
grandkids,
Some people are not sign readers.
great grandkids.
Yeah.
I'm a sign reader. I read everything that pops up in front of me on the road, walking, whatever. So I'm always aware. Okay, I have neck pain. Do I have this? Do I have that? Okay, maybe I shouldn't ride this.
Well,
Some
look
people
out!
walk
Look how
around
giant and how high
oblivious.
it is. No, I'm not getting on that.
Yeah.
No one reads ride requirements. I can.
Oh, I do.
1,000%.
I read
Listen
them.
to those on TV.
I read them as
I
a
am
warning.
sure that I shouldn't take Sky Rizzy if I'm allergic to Sky Rizzy.
Or its components.
Or its components.
Not only that, people also they don't listen clearly to a lot of these things. So, like, again, to bring up Forbidden Journey, since it's in a building that you can't see it, having to explain, like, yes, it's a moving motion simulator. You're elevated off the ground, and you'll feel like you're flying around. And the first thing they jump to is, oh, so Soarin'. Like, no, not even a little bit close to Soarin'. Yes, that's also off the ground, but two different things. Closer to Spider-Man. Like, well, does
So
it
all of the
spin?
ones
No.
that were reported, these people went to the hospital.
That's the
and
point of that
stayed
report.
24 hours or more.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think that's where a lot of people don't stay the 24 hours.
Well, you go, you get checked out.
So those
Or they
are
treat you
reported
on-
in deaths. But no one died.
No one
There were
died this
deaths
year.
reported.
good.
Well, that was between October and December only.
Oh, okay.
So woohoo for those 2 months.
But okay, so interesting report though. I find it interesting.
I really
the
I found
age
it,
span, you gave your older lady warning and your equilibrium, but
I mean, she was 39. That's my age.
well, that's not older.
No, but
you
I mean,
consider
like
that old?
No, but I'm saying like as you age, your body does change as far as I'm concerned with certain
Kids,
things.
as you grow, your
And
body changes.
I'm sorry, but as I
The
am
more you know.
Let's have a talk in 20 years when you
when
get
I'm
to,
working
to
out, like
where
my
I'm
balance
at.
is not what it used to be.
Oh, mine
You know what
either.
I'm saying? Like,
This is
yeah.
competitive. Let go.
I'm just saying. Look out.
We have to bring Spunky Teresa back a bit.
Really. Reel it in.
Yeah,
Thank you wow.
Thank
Thank you for reading the news.
You are
Julie.
welcome.
I appreciate that.
I
much.
thank you also.
You are welcome.
So does the audience at home. Thank us.
John, shut the door.
All right, let's the front door.
Shut the front door.
All right, let's move on to rapid fire.
Oh,
I'm not first, right?
I'm not.
No,
I'm
you're
not
not
first. Am I
first.
first?
Teresa's first, but she's not ready.
Hang on, I'll be there.
She's
I
not
can go
ready.
first if you want.
No, let's let Teresa go first. Get it over with.
A moment of silence.
Why the heck are you doing this to me? Dude, come on.
Dude.
Do you
Can
want me
can
to
I
show
just
it to
say
you on
how
the
nice
screen?
Rhino
Great.
looks today in
Rhino,
his
you do
animal
look
print
very nice
jacket?
today.
I love
Do
it.
you
Ew.
like that pattern?
It's
though?
very
I
Joan
don't know.
Collins.
My best friend got this for me for Christmas, so I want to make sure. The second it was cold here, I was like, I'm putting it on, and I sent her a photo and everything, and I was like, I'm wearing the
If
jacket.
you ever don't
today.
want it or outgrow it, I'm available.
Outgrow it.
We also should say happy belated birthday to Teresa.
Yes.
Oh yes!
Sister
Happy
Teresa.
birthday,
Belated
Teresa.
birthday.
Her-
I'm so
is
much
it your
older.
111th yet?
It's
78.
What's
She's
it
going
say
on
on
October.
Yeah, my-
Facebook? It's like 103 or something.
Well, my calendar alerts
I
me
don't
to
know
your
why.
birthday all the time, and that's why
It's
I was
actually
like,
59. I'll claim it. I own it. I'm happy with 59. I'm good with it,
Excellent.
So it's going to be a good
What's
year.
your other option?
oh, you're 103, yes.
I'm 103. I
Yeah.
thought I was, yeah. That makes me look better.
I mean, seriously, you are killing it.
At 103. Okay. I am. Thank you for that, John. Though somewhat belated, but it's good. It's all good.
Read your rapid fire.
I got it. I'm ready. Are we ready?
Ready.
Craig,
Oh,
you just
I thought we had a timed
pissing me
out.
off as the day goes on. Sorry, can I
I
say that out
am
loud?
not controlling that.
No, I'm not. Nothing to do with. I
You
have no
said
problem
Craig.
with Rhino.
You said my name.
I know, but the look on your face was
Right.
bothering
Can
me.
we move on with this,
I'm
please?
ready. There is a. Are you ready?
Gotcha.
There is a must-have Disney Skyliner popcorn bucket in town at Walt Disney World. I love
town.
this.
I love the in town.
Yeah.
I love this. All right, the new bucket is in the form of a Disney Skyliner gondola and includes Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, Chip and Dale, and Pluto artwork from the very first cabin Disney shared when they announced the project. So what this says, yes. The images are absolutely adorable. When I saw this, and I'm not a popcorn bucket person,
I don't know.
but something about this one I like.
I
a
have
lot.
to tell you one that my friend literally just texted me the photo of when the show started, and it's a Simba, and I was looking at it, and I was like, why does he look like he's passed out or going to throw up? It's the Simba so that you put your arms under his arms.
Oh, lift
and-
him up.
Yeah, because it's the opening scene where they're holding him up.
Oh,
now
the
they have a
popcorn
yeah,
bucket is Simba. He's not in the
So it's like
Skyliner.
dangling?
No,
like
no.
this?
Yeah, it's another one that just came out, and I was like, "Good lord, they're pumping out popcorn buckets like nobody's business," because they just had the
Popping out.
Millennium Falcon
Well, it was
one,
popcorn
too.
day. Let me go back to the one I'm talking about, though. Okay.
Please.
All right.
Please.
Currently, these special popcorn buckets, the one I'm talking about, are only available at Fife and Drum and World Showcase at Epcot and the popcorn cart in Future World near Electric Umbrella. $17 plus tax. I think they're cool.
There was a long line for them.
Was there?
Fife and Drum, and then they were out of them, and they weren't sure when they were going to get them back. But then the next day there was a line again. So I don't know.
For people who collect these, where do you store these?
Well, you know what? In my office, I've got a shelving, and my top shelf is all the weird collectibles. And there's a few Disney things up there. But this could also hold chocolate. Why would you have to limit it to popcorn?
Oh, we didn't realize it was multifunctional in that case.
You could also put your kisses in it or whatever.
Someone tell me about what was the thing that was on sale where you got 4 French fries?
It was the Millennium Falcon one.
Was it the
Yeah, in Disneyland you could get it, and I think the way it was worded, it made it sound like it was going to be stuffed full of French fries that you would be able to, because that one you wore, like it faces down and the back opens, and it made it think like you're going to have this purse that you can just reach down and take French fries while you're walking.
Sounds awesome.
It happens to be all Kevin's purses.
Yeah, it's better than Napoleon Dynamite's cargo pocket.
Is it a popcorn bucket or is it a French fry bucket?
It was technically a popcorn bucket, but I think what they were doing, because they did this at when you remember the one that looked like Han Solo and Carbonite, and they would put the meal in that one. They did. They did. I think it's the same idea where they would put the boat of fries in the bottom of the Millennium Falcon, so like when you open it, it would look like.
It was like $40, and it had like 4 French fries.
It lights up too.
But who's to say it has to be just for popcorn?
We know kisses and chocolate.
Kisses and chocolate. Your mini Snickers.
My friends wear it in purses when they're done.
Yeah, they're cute.
Yeah,
popcorn buckets are huge. All right, thank you, Teresa. Kevin, what's your rapid fire?
I found a book on, first of all, somebody on Twitter talked about it, and I went to Amazon and ordered it. It is called The 55ers.
We have a picture up.
The Pioneers Who Settled Disneyland.
Yep, it's by a man named David Koenig, a Disney historian, and I'm finding it fascinating. And I think if you're into Disney history, I think you might enjoy it. I'm just going to read you the inside flap of it. I think that's enough. It was enough to get me to buy it. It's going to take me a minute. Walking through Disneyland, you'll spot cast members dressed up as cowboys in Frontierland, jungle explorers in Adventureland, and small-town shopkeepers on Main Street. But back when the park first opened in 1955, the employees weren't pretending. They were true-to-life characters hand-picked for their amazing backgrounds. Now, for the first time, you can get to know these fascinating personalities in the 55ers, the pioneers who settled Disneyland. You'll meet over 700 year one cast members from every department in the park, including Disneyland's notorious first general manager, C.V. Wood, and his Texas Mafia. Vesey Walker, the bristly conductor of the Disneyland Band, and the 16 often crazy musicians who followed him.
Is that Vesey with a V?
Vesey.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Are you taking notes?
Yeah.
The overly serious Marshall Lucky and his never serious enough nemesis, the villainous Black Bart. Adorable sweeper Trinidad, K7, the Kaiser aluminum spaceman, original Jungle Cruise skippers, Merlin's Magic Shop magicians, Puffin's bakers, Upjohn pharmacists, Hobbyland model airplane flyers, and Golden Horseshoe can dancers, plus the very first nurses, security officers, firemen, mule wranglers, ticket sellers, newsboys, switchboard operators, TW Ray rocket to the moon hostess, and many more. The 55ers offers more than 300 never-before published images. I thought those were really cool, looking at old Disneyland. Most of them provided by the original Disneylanders themselves. The candid photos provide peeks inside a number of long-vanished areas of the park, including Sunnyview Jams and Jelly Shop, the Plantation House Chicken Restaurant, and the Adventureland Bazaar. This is the most unique cast of Disney characters you will ever encounter.
Let me see the book, not your phone.
I'm enjoying it from the historical aspect of it. I like reading about the original experiences and, what they thought was happening, because we look back on it now through the haze of history, and you assume that everything that opened in the park was in perfect condition, and everything that I look at that opening day, and I've read history about it, how things went so wrong. But it's interesting to hear from.
Okay, this is really bad.
Apologize
do that.
to all the audio people out there.
Right, sorry about that, guys. Okay, Kevin, finish what you were saying.
I'm sorry, Teresa and Julie are smelling my book.
And I just
I'm not sure why, but it is. I think this was a fascinating book, and if you're looking for somebody, if you know somebody who's a Disney historian, it makes a great gift. Or if you are yourself, if you're interested in the fascinating history of it all,
So, sorry, because the way you spoke in the beginning, I thought this was like a fictional storytelling of that. So these are the real
Real
deal.
people.
I was
Yeah,
surprised you said
that's cool.
700 original cast members.
Right.
That's unbelievable.
And Disney wanted, when they first opened, this is not something I knew. They did not hire people to be actors. They did not hire people. I mean, like when they wanted a marshal in Frontier Town, they hired a marshal. So it was interesting.
That's why I thought when you started. That's why I thought, oh, maybe it was like Old West people had come here, and and they had space astronauts here. So I was thinking it was this sort of like kids story, but now that is interesting to me. Yeah.
And pharmacist was on the list. They had a pharmacist.
Mule Wrangler. Mule Wrangler.
They not only had a pharmacy on Main Street. At one point, you could buy brassieres on Main Street.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I did remember that.
We
So-
need
An
that.
over-the-shoulder boulder holder.
Jeez Louise.
Okay.
Because it was supposed to be Main Street.
Right, it's supposed to be Main Street USA.
That's
and what he
cool.
found
I think
as a
it's
child on
interesting
his Main
that to
Street.
hear the stories from these people who were there at the beginning.
You said you got it on Amazon?
I did. I can tell you the price too.
Mickey
it was,
Mouse
I think
bra.
It was $35.
No,
I'm sorry, $55.
Yeah.
Oh, how
makes
appropriate. Yeah.
Make an awesome Christmas gift or birthday gift for
birthday
someone who
gift,
turned
belated
59
birthday.
Happy
recently.
New Year.
Right?
Thank
I
you.
just think it's really cool.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kevin. Kathy, what's your
Okay.
rapid fire?
Do you have anything these two can smell?
Just my printed paper.
It's not the same as a book.
Germany and Morocco have new music playing during the Festival of the Arts.
How can you tell with Morocco?
Well,
Oh.
Well, doesn't they all sound the same when they
No,
play
they
every song?
don't.
Oh, I do. I think. they
oh
all
well,
sound
wait
the
a
same.
minute.
I know, cringeworthy. Right to
I
John.
love Morocco and I love the music.
They were.
Lord.
I was when I looked up how to say the name. It's Nawa. They were saying that what they typically do in the Nawa music is they have one sentence that they keep repeating over and over and over and over and
Really,
over
really
again.
selling it, Kathy.
Well, I just that's it's like sort of like the.
Like
As
the
we-
new Justin Bieber song.
Kind of like ain't nothing but a hound dog.
Well, have you ever
He says the
have you
same
ever
thing over and
listened
over.
to the music at Disney Springs? Because Katie and
Oh,
I
yeah.
always joke that it's like they
Two
only
songs.
bought like part of a song and they keep repeating it and repeating it.
Yeah, it's that M83 song that I can't get out of my head every time there.
But Germany has Liebendig, an award-winning German pop rock band,
God, I love them.
and Morocco has the creative mix of traditional Nawa music and the current sounds of Morocco with Atlas fusion. So if you're into different music,
And
go
this
to
is only
Germany.
during the festival of.
Yes.
Oh,
I think I might have actually caught some of the Moroccan, the band playing, if that started
The
on day
pop?
one. Yeah, the pop
Yeah.
one. And I actually thought, like, when it was playing, I was like, oh, this sounds really, because it got really loud over there.
Different,
But then I
John.
was like, at first I was like, I don't like loud music. So when it started playing, I was like, it's too loud. I can't talk anymore. But then I was listening.
You're
and I was like,
old.
I actually like this. This is pretty cool.
Do you remember the German band, the German pop punk band that came
Oh,
at
yeah.
Christmas the one year? They emailed me about like 3 months ago asking to take down the video of them because that was no longer with their image and they didn't want people to get the idea of that.
They
Because our
switched it?
video had like just about the same amount of views as anything on their channel. So I guess a lot of people were finding it. So I'm mad at Germany as a whole right now.
People grow and change. Let people
Lord.
see where you came from, German band.
That's what I say.
All right, Germany, Morocco. Should we add any other nations
Any
onto
other
this
countries we wanna
checklist we're starting to
add
build
yes?
here?
I enjoy it all. Just I'm going on the record. I'm good.
I love everyone. Thank you, Kathy. Julie,
Nothing to say about it. I blame Meghan Markle.
Oh, you don't want to start that. Oh,
don't bring that back up.
Carlo's
Julie?
Bake Shop, everybody.
Oh, gosh, yes.
Their treats are now available at Earl of Sandwich in Disney Springs. So if you and your sweet tooth are going to be at Disney Springs anytime in the near future, there's a new dessert stop to add to your list. As you know, Carlo is on TLC's Cake Boss, for those of you who didn't know.
Oh, I did not know
is
that.
the
I
cake
didn't-
boss.
He is the cake
the
boss.
cake
Is
boss.
cake boss.
Is the little rainbow thing he does going to be there? Little rainbow
Okay,
or something?
yes.
Picture
It's in the
There's
photo.
a photo,
picture.
and I'm not sure if this photo from Earl of Sandwich or
Yes.
is this photo from
This
Carlo's
is-
Bake Shop?
This is
from-
Inside Earl.
Okay,
This is Inside
so I
Earl.
do see the rainbow cake.
Okay.
All right. So just in case, the treats can be found on the main counter just before you reach the cashier. The treats are available for purchase and include large slices of cake. Okay, these are like extra large. These are gigantic slices.
Have you
of
seen them
cake.
in person?
$10.95. The choices include a chocolate fudge cake slice, a rainbow cake slice, and a red velvet cake
$10.95
slice.
for a slice of cake?
I'm telling you, this is like...
Julie didn't
No,
set the
they're-
prices. Just calm down.
They are not
They're
that
not
big.
huge? They
No,
look
they're not huge. They're
Okay.
not huge.
Well,
They look huge because you're tiny.
and the
Get
black and
someone
white
that needs
cookie...
a big piece of cake.
the black and white cookie is also available for $3.95. Don't you worry, Teresa. I'm getting me a king cake.
They have black and whites too,
$11 for a slice of cake.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It is a lot.
especially after you bought.
Carlo better bring it to my table.
It's
That's crazy.
It better not taste 1 ounce of staleness either.
Did they get rid of their brownies? Is this like in replace of the stuff they used to?
they still have all the other desserts
love
that
the
they
brownies.
normally do. It's just this is in addition, and
Yep.
it's like I mean, I guess it's just my opinion on it, but when I saw the cake slices in there, I got excited. I know there's a lot of opinions about Cake Boss and everything with it being good or not, but every time I'm at Florida Mall, which is usually only once a year because I hate going to the Florida Mall, but I always go in and get a cannoli at his shop because he
Oh, I
makes
love
they
cannoli.
make good cannolis. But that being said, I haven't really gotten anything else, but when I saw like $11 for a piece of cake, it's like that is just
For a
wild. You might as well
sliver.
just Uber to Florida Mall and go crazy and get any
Or
option
Publix
that you
and get a
want.
whole cake?
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Julie. Rhino, what's your rapid fire?
Mine is about Margaritaville, and Margaritaville.
the
Has
gun.
Margaritaville is now a part of Walt Disney World's Good Neighbor Hotel program. I'm not really sure what pertinent information there is that has to do with this, though. Guests can take advantage of the Margaritaville.
It's just like if you book a regular Good Neighbor hotel through Walt Disney Travel Company, you get fast passes in advance and things like that. So you become part of the
That's what
the
I was
perks.
wondering. Yeah, it just didn't see it in this article where it said the fast pass thing. But there are some. I've driven by here a couple of times. It looks like a really cool resort kind of experience, and I guess if you're looking to try something different and not stay on property, you could check out Margaritaville, and I believe that Dreams is booking that, and so you can reach out to.
One of the
an
things
agent.
about Margaritaville is they offer 4, 5, 6 bedroom accommodations. So this is something that's not really readily available at Disney or actually a lot of other places unless you want to get a private home. So bigger accommodations for bigger families. I will say this, we've priced some stuff out. It's very expensive.
Yeah.
So, maybe it offsets the price of getting 12 hotel rooms, but
Does it have the dining there too? The restaurant, or no, because of the one at City Walk?
No, but they have that entire section they built. I can't remember the name.
The water park?
apologize. But everything right there. So then they added like the Ford's Garage, and they have the movie theater with the dining option there, and like they literally built that entire complex to support everything with Margaritaville, and it's
Sunset Walk Retail Center.
Thank you.
That's what it's called. Yeah,
that's
I
what
knew it
it's
was in
called.
here.
I mean, that area is thriving. I just wonder, like, when you go in and turn on the TV in there, do they have like Jimmy Buffett as their Stacy? Like when you go to Walt Disney World?
He's
Going over
not
with-
the best public speaker.
What?
all right.
I'm
Thank
sorry.
you, Rhino. We appreciate that. Craig, what about you? Rapid fire. Go.
Yeah, my rapid fire is just kind of not breaking news, but exciting new news that just came out, and that is that they released a couple more concept art images for the new Disneyland parade that's happening called Magic Happens that debuts February 28th. And exciting because some of the concept art they already showed before made the parade seem a little different, adding Coco into it, having a Sleeping Beauty float, but now like with this one, like there's a Cinderella float, and instead of having her just ride in the carriage with Prince Charming, like they do for seems like everything, she gets to actually be standing in a nice pumpkin
I
globe.
think that's cool. Yeah.
It looks very interesting with that. Princess and the Frog gets a nice like
Ooh.
romantic
Look
style
at the
looking
wisteria.
Yeah, it's pretty,
That's
isn't it?
nice.
It's very pretty. Looks very different. The thing I am most pumped about, because I feel like it's underrepresented all the time.
Oh, yes.
But Sword in the Stone actually
Oh,
gets
nice.
its own float with Merlin
That's
and
really cool
Arthur
looking.
there too. And so it's just it feels like they're really trying to think out of the box with this new parade. And I don't know when I'll get a chance to see it, but
It needs Yzma.
Isn't there also I remember seeing something about the floats have a lot of effects
Yes.
on them. One of the floats, Moana float, doesn't it have a waterfall right on it, or
there's definitely going to be
remember exactly what it
effects like that. And they said with the Sleeping Beauty float, like it's going to go between the pink and the blue dress for Aurora.
Love it.
They're definitely trying to work in effects as much as possible. Yes?
Yo, I was just gonna say, if you look in the Cinderella one, you probably can't see this on your screen, but she's definitely looking down at some sort of effect that's starting to happen down toward the
Looking
bottom
down.
of this pumpkin over
What's
here.
happening
'Cause
to
there's
my dress?
Yeah,
I
there's
really
some-
like
so-
that she's getting her moment without Prince Charming.
Me too.
I mean, can he just?
Took long enough, right?
Yeah.
No, it's. I think this parade looks like they're definitely trying a different concept that feels like it'll be really fresh. And that being said, I loved Soundsational.
Yeah, me
Even
too.
though it ran for 10 years, I still loved it to the very end. But this actually looks like it might be a very intriguing. But yeah, that'll start February 28th. And just give a quick plug to Tom Bell. He's been releasing, with my help, a bunch of videos of his time at Rise of the Resistance now that that's open in Disneyland. And then him and Luella did a slew full of videos from Lunar New Year celebrations happening at Disney California Adventures. So keep an eye on our YouTube channel for that good stuff.
Excellent. Was it hard to tell you rapid fire while Teresa was playing with her doll?
I don't look at Teresa anymore. It's just easier.
You know what? Same at you, dude.
Thank
You're on
you.
my,
You know me.
You're on my list.
I'm a rat.
Thank you, Craig.
Rat.
All right, we're going to move on. We're going to talk about planning a last-minute trip to Walt Disney World. So here's what inspired this brilliant idea I had for a segment, if I do say so myself, is that with the opening of Rise of the Resistance, there's been a great deal of clients and people I know personally saying to me, boy, I'd love to come down and see it, but, I can't get down for a while. I can't get down for a year or something like that. What's the possibility of me coming down quickly and experience it and going away? So we experienced it and then just coming in for the weekend and seeing that and some other things. So we did an article on the Diz about last minute trips to Walt Disney World and some pricing for March of 2020. We figured that was a good enough time frame where people could, make their plans and come on in. And we found some really interesting pricing, some I think good pricing out there. But coming in a last minute trip proposes some challenges, right? You can't really have your fast passes. They're probably all gone. Maybe the restaurants are gone. So what would you tell somebody who's planning their last minute trip to Walt Disney World, let's say this March? What could we give them advice for, say, fast passes?
Take what's available.
Say it again?
Take what's available.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if
good-
you've been
sorry.
sorry, but if you've been here 100 times and you're just coming because you want to see Rise of the Resistance anyway, see what's available for the times that you want and be like, hey, let's just do these. Be happy
Be
with what we get.
flexible in what you get.
Definitely manage their expectations right up front because you're not going to get, what you think you want.
I would tell you, I was looking for a restaurant, and I have checked most of the week and was not able to get a table for two at Homecoming. Some friends are coming to town at the beginning of March, and I think if you're just persistent, I mean, I got a table today for 8 people,
Yeah.
and for the same date that I've been looking at where nothing was available.
Yeah. Keep looking.
Keep
Yeah.
at
Keep
it.
at it, yeah.
Yeah, don't give up just because you're told no.
I mean, that's what we do. If we decide all of a sudden we want to go to have dinner at Disney, I just put in how many people and what time and just see what's available.
Well,
Is there anything we enjoy?
I
Cool.
think
If
it-
not, all right.
I think on that idea, I think be open to trying some new things for that. Maybe it's not going to be a trip filled with all those things that you always have to do, but maybe just take that quick getaway as being like, you know what, I'll try something new.
Maybe it's not about riding all the rides.
Yeah.
Maybe it's about just enjoying yourself in the theme park.
Yeah.
So the good news is with Rise of the Resistance, there aren't fast passes.
Right.
Yeah.
So you kind of don't have to worry about that. There's the virtual queue, and there's tons of information out there about how you can get onto the virtual queue. So if this is why you're coming, the good news is if you're diligent about it, if you work at it, you will get on that ride. So, something you don't have to worry about is, I'm going to be shut out.
But you really do have to plan on getting up at 0 dark 30.
Right. Right. It's not an easy thing. It's
Yeah,
something.
and it's really not a virtual queue. Someone described it more as a lottery. Because you can all go in at the same time, and the person standing next to you doing the exact same thing might get boarding group 10 and you get boarding group 93.
Yeah.
So it's more of it's luck.
I'm calling it what Disney calls it. They call it a virtual queue. I'm just calling it a virtual queue.
Well, I'm calling it what I read.
I
Tension.
mean, yeah, it really comes down to semantics. This argument's been happening everywhere, and there is the idea that it is a queue because technically the reason that person got 93 and you got 5 is because your phone loaded 0.0001 second faster than the other person. But it's whatever you want to call it. But as for fast passes, planning a last second trip, I mean, we're obviously coming from the locals' perspective. So unless I have something planned out for sure, almost every single trip to the parks is a last minute one. And this tip is out there, so it's nothing new, but don't always put in the amount of fast passes you need for your full group. Start with just one and start refreshing. I usually, like, the most I've done it with is 4 people, but if I go through individually, one person at a time, I can inevitably get fast passes for all 4 people, usually in popular attractions, within an hour of the same time period, so that way it can all
you're not
overlap.
getting the exact same time because it's 4 different people.
But it doesn't, like, you know, if one person gets from 1 to 2 and the next person gets from 1:15 to 2:15 and 1:30 to 2:30.
You go at the time you all
you
go.
Yeah, you go once you're all interlapping and you do it that way. It's sloppy and it's stressful, but I've usually, I think I've only had an issue one time where I couldn't get something agreeable for one of the big attractions. I'm talking like a Space Mountain, Flight of Passage, your marquee attractions, and it's obnoxious and it's aggravating and it takes a lot of work, but it is possible.
Well, you know, Disney's set up all of these things that almost make it necessary that you do have to find the tricks. How else are you going to do it if you don't sort of figure it out, the nuances of it? Going back to the Rise of the Resistance, someone was telling me that if you just keep refreshing, they got a later boarding time or a higher boarding number than if they closed the app and went back in. I don't know how true that is. I don't know if it's just luck of the draw. So people are trying everything to sort of, you know, make it work for them. What about things like there's single rider lines, right, on a lot of rides? So as long as you're not crazy about being together, however, most of the time you are sat together.
Or relatively close.
Yeah.
Right. Or at least in the same car or a ride like that. Someone was telling me, a friend of ours who's here, said when with Rise of the Resistance, because her boarding group was so late in the day, that she just went and did regular rides and stood in the regular queue for certain things. So 40-minute wait is not a big deal if your boarding time isn't until 7 o'clock at night. So you can get on those things. What else? What else do you want to share?
I would
with
say
folks?
back with the dining, you were saying Homecoming. I've never had a dining reservation from there because we show up like when they open at 4, and we've had a large group, but we ate early. Now, if you showed up at 6:30, that's not going to work. But you might try, if there's a certain restaurant you want to try going when they open at 4 or 5, and see if they can seat you for the early seating.
This was 8 people, and I've tried all week. I tried to get 2 people, and I thought, well, what if I do 2 reservations for 4? And I explained to them that there's really 8 of us. I tried everything, and then this morning
It just opened
it
up.
just it just popped up.
Just
So
keep
I'm-
checking. I've got clients that I go back repeatedly. We want a certain thing on a certain day, and we both just keep checking and checking and checking. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't.
And
It's
also,
just-
like, the time we got is not ideal, right? It wasn't the perfect time for
We
us
were
to
within
dine.
45 minutes of the time I would have chosen, so I thought it was okay.
Yeah, as long as you're flexible on eating early or eating later. We also, Kevin and I found, too, sometimes if you just go to the podium,
yep.
I say, listen, there's 2 of us. You know, we're interested in eating right now. Is that something that you can accommodate us with? And usually people are nice about it.
Yeah.
Also, twice in the last month, we've had reservations that were for later, and we have found we have to deal with Orlando traffic. And, you know, getting from point A to point B might take you an hour and 45 minutes, but if you just hit it right, it might take you 25 minutes. And we've arrived places very early and said to them, our reservation's not for another hour and a half. Can we be sat now? A lot of time, both times they were very accommodating, and then I thought, the one lady actually said to me, well, that opens up a more popular time for people who
For
walk
other
in.
people. I love Rhino's idea. Step out of your box and try something new. If I'm not with my husband, I do that all the time. It's just,
If you're planning a last minute trip, your motto needs to be flexible.
be very flexible. And I just, yeah, definitely.
And
But
like you
also
Go
said,
with it.
smart.
You're at Disney.
and if, like you said, people planning just for this Rise of the Resistance, go do things that are not rides. Go watch movies. Go eat something you've never eaten before. Just relax. It's only a weekend.
And
Don't
stick
stress
to-
yourself out.
Stick to the basics that we know. Like, it doesn't matter what time of year it is. It still applies that if you rope drop, you can usually get on a lot more than if you don't show up until 11, 12 o'clock. I mean, yeah, you have random days where everyone's doing it at the same time, and then there's a fallout in the middle afternoon. But first thing in the morning and last thing at night, if attractions are what you want to get on, that's still two of the best times you can really knock a lot of stuff out at. So it's same strategies you'd have if you planned far and ahead, but don't forget them just because you're going out of your box and doing something different.
yeah, John.
All right. So we also looked at, one of the things I looked at was the month of March, and I have some pricing to share with you about March. But one of the things to keep in mind is there are other things going on too, right? There's Flower and Garden. There are Villain After Hours events. There's early morning events, extra magic hour events. So finding when you want to go and using those things to sort of make the day different than you might usually go. So we looked at some pricing for some folks and looking at doing like a long weekend, coming in on a Thursday, going home on a Sunday, March 19th through March 22nd. You can get a room at the All-Stars, All-Star Music, All-Star Sports for $580 for the weekend. So if you are looking for an inexpensive getaway, that is certainly something you could do. Now that's the room-only price. You can add tickets to that as you wish. Obviously, if you wanted to add a 3-day base ticket to that, that brings it to $1,358 for 2 adults. More, of course, if you have kids or you have other people in your party. So it's not terribly expensive to do it, But again, you might be the type of person who says, "Well, I only like to stay at the Contemporary." Well, you're going to pay the price.
I used to do that when Katie was on the college program. I'd come down for the weekend, come down Friday evening and go back Monday morning. And I had an annual pass, so I really didn't have to worry about my tickets, and then just go to the park, see what was available. I had a good time. I mean, that was a fun way to do it. It's like you got your Disney fix, but you weren't there for a week, or you didn't really have to sweat what rides you got to do.
I also think, too, for someone who might be looking at this, a weekend getaway or a short getaway, they probably are annual pass holders. Or they have a ticket that's still good, or they're trying to do something to sort of supplement a further stay. So it's not like, I have to get a 3-day park hopper and go crazy, for sure. Anything else? Any last-minute ideas we want to share with folks for a last-minute getaway or a weekend getaway coming up soon?
If you can't find the restaurant you want, there are places off property that are really good.
That's what I was just going to say. Don't be afraid to go off property. Again, if you're an annual pass holder and you do this regularly, Orlando has a lot to offer. And to just lump it as only Disney and staying in that bubble, it's kind of a shame because our culture is growing more and more rapidly. And it's an interesting place.
Also, Uber and Lyft has made it so much easier now, right?
Yes.
I mean, you could always get that taxi at the resort, but Uber and Lyft, you can go anywhere.
If you're in town this week, this is very timely. Starting tonight, I believe, Disney's Broadway show Aladdin is playing at the Dr. Phillips Center in downtown Orlando for the rest of the week.
For 3 weeks, actually, because I'm going next Wednesday, and I believe it goes through February.
And I'm going the last Thursday
Oh, I
performance.
thought it was just
Yeah.
a week. We're going Thursday, or the day after tomorrow. So if you're interested in town, Disney's Broadway version of Aladdin is playing at the Dr. Phillips Center.
Excellent.
Oh, if you are planning a quick getaway this weekend or this week, the Coronado Springs Resort is hosting a firefighter leadership conference for 4 days. So there are over 1,500 firefighters currently in Orlando. So you single ladies,
I should go
Right
over and sit in the lobby.
I was going to say, if you're
Do we
telling me
have to
there's
be
eye
single?
candy,
well, you know, I don't want to cause any
Single-minded.
problems, but firefighters are near and dear to my heart. So if
Yes.
you see them out and about, just
That's sweet.
tell them good job. Tell
Hit
them
on them?
No, tell them good job. Like tell them you think
Say-
what they're doing is awesome.
ask them to take their top off and stay a while.
All right, and on that note, thank you all very much for helping me with this conversation. I appreciate it. And that'll do it for this episode of the Diz Unplugged. Bye. Stop watching.